So like they have more time, you know. So they're supposed to be like, additional
So
support.
it doesn't matter. Because I was going to bring it as like elevation. Sure, but I'm biased.
No, it's the same contract, same just more practical.
It's just harder in general.
Like there are they're all second in secondary, but
There is a limit. Clearly. So society's already at a point where there's too many people trying to cross all the or expect people to not. We can't. We have to have
they're kind of fun.
They are. That is really nice that you have a lot of kids who are
well, what's the deal there? That's really creepy.
Those sixth graders.
Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
I didn't bleed.
I guess we're a couple kids.
I didn't bleed.
Adam, do you want the, do you guys want to?
I tried.
There anyway. Yeah.
This is the low top and like, he has to put it
So I learned something the other day. Apparently, soldiers found out on their rifle they have thing it's inside their hole.
Yeah, she didn't.
Well, they found out, or they tried, doing stuff with soldier style. They took the rifles end to end, paying it out, and locked them together, only to find out that there was going to be so much so that the French High Command actually had to come out with, all right, we need to change all our rifles. So you have to drill a hole in here so that you can rotate and undo this. You have to really yeah, right? It's all branches. It's just stupid kids. It's stupid stuff. Yeah.
unless it's.
What does they say? You give an infantryman 2 steel balls and help break it.
Oh, sure. It's going to require special equipment. Make sure you use that so we can hear you. What's that? Yeah. Heavy duty. I know, and we didn't use the camera. It didn't work. We probably need to return it. So we used the conference one that they had. The other one that we got. This is the one that we used last time. And it had okay sound. It was okay, so we couldn't get it to sound to work.
What about this?
This would probably go to the ceiling. That, which would be good. It would be a good angle, right? Everybody looks better.
Later.
If there's anybody on, not that it
Based on the mission and sponsors. So I
Let's go ahead and get started. All right. So, I think we have just about everybody here. It's harder to tell in this way because on at least the Google Meets, I can look down and there's like 48 participants, 52 participants.
Would you like us to number off? 1, 2, 3.
That's a good try, Nick. I appreciate that. Right now, I can hear the military guys grinding their teeth. These guys would never make it in Nam. All right. Okay, so guys, we got a great opportunity ahead of us right now. A project that the teams, and I say teams meaning there was a lot of people engaged in this, from our support leads to our infrastructure team to our techs to actually really the Jamf people themselves have been wonderful, to tell you the truth. I don't say that often about vendors, but Jamf has really kind of impressed me. Not that you guys needed to know that part, but anyways.
How's that new car going?
Touche, thank you. I should have asked. But that being said, guys, we got a wonderful opportunity to discuss a project that is coming to its deployment phase here. The teams have been working hard in trying to make this as clean, smooth a transition as possible. We've all been through multiple transitions of other systems, so we've taken what we've learned from those and applied them to this. Jamf has had some advantages that other systems may not have had, possibly some disadvantages there too. We'll find those out as we go along as well. But I don't want to take too much time up here because I don't want to steal too much time from focus from that important subject matter. But before I do hand off the mic, I want to do a couple quick things. First, a couple of calendar items, nothing super urgent, but just so you guys are aware, come next, I think it's on the 17th. What's happening on the 17th, guys?
We're getting raises?
Nicholas.
Oh.
Nicholas. For everybody but you. Great Utah Shakeout. Only slightly less exciting than raises. I know. You're like, well, at least, if it's not raises, at least I get to climb underneath my desk.
Do we get to store the big 21-inch subwoofers they're going to be installing between now and the next one?
That would be awesome. I would make that recommendation. Budget might allow it. So just be aware as far as that goes. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's not a complaint. I've been notified that some of you guys have been found sitting in your office during the Great American or Utah Shakeout.
Under the desk counts?
They weren't appreciative of that.
Who's they?
And I don't know if you were totally under the desk physical facilities.
Should we practice right now?
I like that,
No?
Amber.
Too close.
I'm not sure this is the crowd. Yeah, maybe after the training. Okay. The second one, just as a heads up, is April 23rd. Do you guys know what April 23rd is? No, it's not a pay raise. What's April 23rd?
Birthday?
The day after the 22nd.
Day after 22nd. 22nd. But it was not as good as the 23rd, which is our Administrative Professional Appreciation Day. So, that being said, we have a few of those in the office here. You have obviously those out in your schools, and I would feel, bad that I didn't remind you of that, because I still feel bad about not reminding you about Valentine's. I'm sure some of you guys suffer. Yes. So, yes.
Crap, they do that?
So, that real quick, calendar items. The other couple of things, online testing. We came back from spring break, online testing has kicked off. I've heard reports back about Rise. I've heard reports back about Aspire, and everything's been positive so far. Anybody hearing anything different? Has anybody had any complications? Not necessarily with even our systems, but even with, their systems not necessarily letting people log in or whatnot.
The single biggest problem I've had is basically sometimes the app is not up to date. Chrome OS is up to date, but the app is not up to date. I do a power wash, everything's fine.
Okay, how many of those have you seen?
About a half a dozen.
Yeah.
So not bad, not bad. But the Chrome OS updates itself, but the actual Aspire.
Correct.
The testing now is what comes up and says it, but you just have to restart it by that point.
Yeah, you may not even have to power wash it. It really just means the device probably wasn't being used very often, maybe?
No.
No?
There's a number
Well, these are
of
one-to-one
being used
schools.
that-
Yeah, they're one-to-one.
I don't know why, but it put us to
Very
restart
often.
fixes it.
Okay. But it sounds like more of a drop in the bucket type of a thing. Okay, awesome. Along those lines, I know the last time I think we were in here, we talked a little bit about maybe it wasn't while we were in here, about the problems with the access points. Specifically, I think like the 555 access points or something to that effect. Actually, I got Bryce in here. You want to give him like a quick update as far as that goes? We've seen improvements.
We have seen improvements, so we are still updating, or rather rebooting all the 555s every night, except for two schools, Westlake and Skyridge, who has a firmware update on their APs that has the driver firmware update. So we're seeing pretty good results from those two schools, and we'll be expanding. So that way we have the proper fix and not just a reboot every night.
So the reboot's kind of the bandage, but it's been helpful, right?
Yep.
You guys are seeing benefits. I'm seeing a lot of nodding. But it does sound like with the help of, did we ever get, what was the name of that engineer that was sitting over in the classroom like for 3 days?
Yep, he has a name.
From our friend in Aruba.
Marcus.
Marcus Arubius.
He was Marcus, but I don't remember.
So we have a new Mark?
But he was helping the guys out as far as that goes too. So hopefully we may have a solution as far as those 555s come as well. Has anybody else seen any complications with any of those in the last little bit? Okay, can't argue with results. Awesome, guys. There's going to be a couple of other quick changes that are going to come up. Just so you're aware, I think you probably saw Blaine's email earlier today, if you've read that already. Alio is changing slightly. We're not doing the big change. Alio is going to have a huge change that takes place over the summer, right? Over the summer. But we're taking a step in a change here. It's one of the steps of the change, which means we need a new JNLP file, JavaScript that's going out to your Alio users. And those should be going out here soon.
Let's make sure we get it on the FTP.
We'll get it on the FTP, but honestly, to tell you the truth, the way that we have talked about deploying it, it really should be a hands-off situation for you guys. But let's just be sure. It will also be in the catalogs, the app catalogs, right?
Yeah.
So FTP possibly, app catalogs, and we are going to do a hunt and replace, right?
Yep.
So anybody who currently has it, Bryson's gonna write out a script that basically says, you have this old file, JNLP file, here comes your new one. Deletes the old one, right? Or does it
It's
just?
just modifying the settings inside of it to point to the new server.
Okay, perfect. So yeah,
So
icon's gonna look
leaving
the
in
same
place-
It's an in-place upgrade of the existing file.
of the existing file. Rick?
Okay, if it does the existing file, it leaves it in place on the desktop or wherever the secretary had it?
I believe so.
Okay.
Bryson, it doesn't change any of the location, right? So if the secretary had it on her desktop, if the secretary had it
Does
on,
not move the file.
so no file movage. So really, guys,
And if
hopefully,
they've got 7 copies of it, it'll update 7 copies of it.
why would they have 7 copies of it? Okay, just in case.
Because you can.
If somebody's hoarding, you know, we don't wanna, Jen, I'm sorry, are you trying to follow
Oh,
me with it?
don't worry, we're tracking you, don't worry.
Okay.
Sometimes you're just a voice from beyond, but yeah.
I didn't know you were recording already.
Oh, yeah.
You getting up inside?
In case anybody's watching live, who knows?
Are we streaming this live?
It's being streamed live.
Unfiltered?
We can filter it later.
Good so far.
We've been good so far.
right.
I probably should have, yeah, had
Yeah.
a signed waiver first.
All right. There's probably a couple other quick things. I won't necessarily jump into it. Do you guys have any questions, any topics you want to cover real quick before we jump into the training? We have time.
So I just had a question. Maybe this is like super simple, but I've noticed that some teachers can update their OS on their MacBooks themselves, but then other times I would need to go in and put in the administrator password, even though they were set to admin in the user settings. Is there something is that set up that way on purpose, or?
That is an excellent question. What kind of answers we got? Let's see, Mitch and then Nate.
There's a knowledge base article on it.
Really?
It's look up not owner.
Okay.
Cool. Thought we were gonna say do Nate, not owner.
Not owner.
That's like that's the keywords that I look up. Yeah. To find it in the keyword.
Okay.
It's the administrator gets set as the owner of the device, and then you have to put in a command in terminal and restart the computer, and then it works.
Then the teacher becomes the owner of said device?
More or less.
Okay, it's the not owner issue.
Yeah. All right. Got
Okay.
it. Yeah. If someone else wants to tell me that too, that'd be great.
Okay, awesome. Anything else, guys, you wanna touch base on?
Can I do a share?
Please.
MacBook Pro, or MacBook screens cannot withstand a bite of a student, just so you know.
Thank you.
I did not know I would need to know that.
How old was this?
Junior high?
Okay, so like an elementary school?
Yeah, it might make it to an elementary.
Yeah, so, I mean, the reason why you're asking is, yes, they were permanent teeth, no baby teeth.
Okay.
And, he had them filed the point.
He did warn them I want to bite something, and he leaned over.
That's what he went for?
Yeah.
We couldn't get a textbook in front of him or something like that?
Yeah. So watch your students.
Kate, you remember the day when we were young and you'd open up your textbook and people would like leave things in there, and sometimes they were pictures and sometimes it was like poems and things like that. Nowadays they just bite stuff. I agree for this generation. All right.
No, they rip off keys.
Oh, and keys? Honestly, I can understand keys more than biting and licking. I mean, have you seen where these computers have been? Why would you want that in your mouth?
Because they're in junior high.
Okay. Okay. Imagination's going wild. Thanks, Becky.
You're welcome.
All right, so that being said, guys, I am going to hand off the mic to Austin. He's gonna help present. One thing I would just ask everybody, there are going to be a lot of questions. Ask them. It's actually awesome to hear the gears working in this room as far as things that, we thought of and had solutions for, things we didn't think of, things that we're going to find solutions for. That's part of the reason why we have these meetings, so don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask the what ifs or the what abouts. And we'll do the best we can in order to facilitate all of those. It's a brand new system. We're gonna learn. And don't feel bad if you feel like you have to ask a question about something that we may have missed. Not to say that we've missed anything. You're very thorough. But just in case. All right, thank you guys. I will step you away. You got that one? I'll turn off this. Jen.
Okay, do I need to zoom this in more for the people in the back?
That's what I said.
Or the second
For
row.
old people.
Zoom it.
I got it right here.
I didn't want to say for the old people.
It doesn't matter. You can just say, no problem. Up on the toolbar where it says 125, if you just list them on that, say hit the screen. There's an option right to download, yeah, right there.
It's delayed. Oh, finally.
I see colors.
So, yeah.
Can we share it?
Yeah, so this is in the Google invite.
Okay.
So you go to your Google Calendar, Google invite. This one we're gonna be going through first is the staff automated. But yeah, so we're gonna be moving to Jamf. And our focus has been and will be macOS. You don't see the link in your Google?
It's there.
And you can't go to your calendar. Yeah.
In the notes section.
Am I in view?
Yes.
Now.
Work on it. Yeah, you are. Yep, you stay there. If you move this way just a little bit more, it might be better. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay, so I think we got the document open. So yeah, we're gonna be moving to Jamf, and our focus right now is macOS. We have a timeline for macOS. So we want to, and we're focused on staff devices. And the current plan is we're gonna do 3 schools this Friday. It's gonna be AF Junior, one of TJ's elementaries, surprise, and one of Giovanni's elementaries, surprise.
By the way, somebody's gonna have fun.
So the plan is we have a migration app that we built. It's in Workspace ONE. We'll do an auto install, auto run for this migration app. And what we're gonna go through on this document here is what the staff will see. And I'm building the groups in Workspace ONE off of the staff OU that you have in Workspace ONE. So if they're staff devices, move them into the staff OU or teacher or faculty. I pulled in all 3. But make sure you have all your teacher or staff devices in that OU or they won't get migrated. There's cleanup, we'll do cleanup after, but that's how I'm building the groups. So we were thinking, so we're gonna send out communication tomorrow and to those 3 schools. And then we'll send a reminder on Thursday, the day before, right? And then Friday at 8 a.m. We were thinking is a good, safe time. All the staff members will start seeing this pop up on their screen. It takes about 5 minutes. And we'll go through a live demo here too. So let's see.
Hey, Austin.
Yeah.
Can I pause you a moment there?
Yeah.
So, just real quick on that timeline. Just as Austin mentioned, we will be starting with the staff OS devices. Staff have both OS devices, obviously, as well as iOS devices. Our focus right now is the OS for quite a few reasons. Obviously, staff have a limited amount of time before they go home for the summer. We'll lose our staff here rather quickly as the school year ends. Oh, am I not loud enough?
Probably not.
Okay. So we're gonna lose our staff here pretty quickly as they take off for summer. The other factor as far as that goes is to utilize Workspace ONE, right?
Yeah.
So what we're hoping to have done here is to utilize Workspace ONE in order to help deploy the new Jamf. That's why we're focusing on staff. Specifically macOS. iOS is going to be a little bit different. Austin will jump into that later, but it will come. So as we talk about this, we're going to talk about maybe some of the breakdowns of what's expected as far as staff OS, what's expected next of staff iOS, what's expected of student OS, and student iOS devices. And we're going to try to break those down and the process as far as those goes. But, you know, I just want to kind of jump in there, so if you're thinking, oh, I have to do their laptop at the same time as their iPad, at the same time as their TV, at the same time as, there are going to be stages and levels, right?
Yeah. Like he said, focusing on staff macOS right now. And then another point to Adam is this summer for your student macOS devices, your labs, we're gonna require or ask that you erase, reinstall, re-enroll. When you do that, then they'll enroll into Jamf.
Maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Do they have to be on a specific OS to do the migration, or?
There is a limit, I forgot which one, but I think Monterey and up.
Do you remember Mitch? I think you found it, didn't you?
I don't remember, I thought it was maybe Big Sur and up, but I can't
Big Sur and up.
I can't remember exactly.
Let's look that up. Because generally speaking, most of our devices should have been updated, right? Because of the AD and
We
some of
did
these
tackle a lot of those.
other things.
There's an AD migration.
Probably won't see a lot
There's
of
still a
those,
few.
especially on the staff side, maybe more on the student. Well, maybe not even on the student side.
Student, no way.
So, great question. But yeah, let's get you something just in case somebody does pull out a device that they haven't seen the network in 3 years. So,
We might be having a different conversation if they haven't used it in 3 years. But, yeah. And,
Mac OS 12, and then untested was 10.14 up to 11.
So Monterey for sure.
Monterey for sure works. Oh yeah, and the 3 schools that we're doing on Friday, it's a pilot. Hopefully it just goes smooth, or we learn some things and implement it for the next week, because then we want to move forward with more schools if these ones go well. In a quick timeline. So this is this is the first screen that they're going to see pop up when the auto enroll goes. It's going to remove Workspace ONE profiles and then install the new ones. That screen will go away, and you'll see this screen here where the red arrow points to continue, but actually you click on OK. And then it's going to kind of kick you out of their account. Oh, I think, oh yeah, they'll already be in their teacher account. and that's okay to run it in the teacher account. So it'll kind of kick them out of that, their user, and they'll see this enrollment screen. You guys are all used to it. The teacher will need to click enroll, so they're gonna click OK, and then enroll. And these are the instructions we're sending to the teachers right here. And then this screen will autofill with their username at the top there, and then they just put in their universal password. Once it's done enrolling, click quit. It will go back into their account with this screen here, and it'll finish up these 4 items one more time. And then a reboot timer will come up. It's a 5-minute timer where it will force reboot, or they can click reboot as soon as they see it. So then once it reboots, go ahead and we're telling them to log back into their teacher account. And then they'll see this migration screen one more time, showing the 4 green checks, and then they click OK, and then they're done.
When the prompt comes up, do they have to start the migration right away, or is there like a window of time that they?
When they first see this, no, when they first see this, it's just gonna start going. You don't have to click anything until it then asks that first question to click OK.
And if they don't click OK, can they keep working for a while,
They
or
can.
it's time?
Yeah, they can, and it will keep asking. It'll come back up and keep asking. Also, we had the question down here, when they get to this enrollment screen, there's a not now button. If they click not now, they go back into their account. They do lose Google services, but they still have internet, but not Google services. Am I saying that right, Bryson?
They lose the decryption certificate.
Yeah.
So they
Or
lose anything that we're
HTTPS.
decrypting.
Yeah. So anything HTTPS, they're gonna lose. But if they hit not now, this screen will come back up. The one that they click OK. After like 5 minutes, it'll keep asking. It's a good question. Any others that we're thinking of?
I assume they have to be logged in, right? So when they get there, we're gonna say, make sure you log in, be ready.
Yeah, be logged in, be ready. Giovanni?
What happens if they click on continue instead of OK?
Oh, nothing. It's just a picture.
Image.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird, but yeah, go ahead.
What if you have 2 teachers using the same device? Do they have to run this on both teacher accounts?
Ask it again, it's not gonna cause issues.
So I have a secretary, 2
Mhm.
different people use that computer.
Uh-huh.
Do I need to, does this happen on both
Oh,
teacher
no.
accounts?
No. Good question. Tom?
Is the migration application dependent on administrative rights, or?
We're opening it so that their account will work even if it's not an administrator. Yep. Tom?
So how, what's the time frame this will take
About 5 minutes.
from start to finish?
Yeah. Yep.
Does it have to be on the school network? Can they do it?
No, they can do it at home. It will happen at home if they're at home. Oh.
Is there really any reason why anyone's gonna hit not now? I mean.
Oh, I'm sure it will happen. That's the button.
I'm telling you, you haven't been a tech, it's too late. If you start, just finish it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see it, but even though we have this circled in red here, enroll, we might get it, not now. So that's what the staff will see, that's what we'll be expecting. I do want to go over just some troubleshooting and some reiteration here. This is the guide that we're going to send out to you guys. Just make sure that your staff devices are in your staff OU. Like I said, I'm making the groups based off of that one staff OU in your school, for all your schools. Some troubleshooting here. If the device is in the wrong location in Workspace ONE, like at the wrong school, do do a fresh desk ticket so we can move that. Because if it's not in the right OU, it either won't get the app and it won't migrate, or if it's in the wrong school and it happens to be in the wrong district for our three-way split, it'll go to the wrong district. We have steps to fix that, it's not a big deal. And then this is how you just look in system settings to verify that you have the Jamf migrated settings profile. Just shows you where to look and what it's named. There's UC Central, UC West, and UC South for the profile names.
And where those borders are?
It goes based on the cities, right? Yeah. So if you know the cities that they're gonna be split up, it's
Yeah, it's based on the new districts, yeah.
So PG and South?
PG and South, yeah, and then Saratoga and Eagle Mountain.
All right, so if this can work, there we go. Blue. I think that's right. Sorry, go ahead. I'm talking to myself. That's a great question, and we're delving into one of the intricacies that this team has, worked hard on, as well as our friends at Jamf. There is building a system like this right now, right prior to a district split, is challenging. I mean, we didn't want to put forth all this labor, all this effort, just to have to undo it once Alpine ceases to exist and dissolves, right? So one of the key features on this, and this is a credit to the team that worked on this, is there are literally 3 independent tenants of Jamf here. 3 independent systems that we're going to keep synced while we're Alpine, but when we do go into 3 different, we will be able to hand the car keys, so to speak, to South, to Central, to West, and they will be ready to go and to fly. But that does mean, as Austin's talking about here, it does mean a little bit extra detail. Pay attention as of right now, because if you're putting people on the wrong server, in the wrong tenant, it will function now because we're all still in the same district, but it will be very inconvenient come July 2027. So folks, I mean, those boundaries for the new school districts haven't necessarily been 100% formalized yet, but if you have a pretty good idea, anything that's Saratoga, Eagle Mountain, Cedar Fort, West, Lehigh to American Fork, up to Alpine to Draper Central, Pleasant Grove, down to Vineyard to South Forum, South. There might be some schools that take kids from both. My thinking is Barrett. Barrett Elementary takes kids both from American Fork and PG. Dry Creek takes them from Lehigh and from Saratoga. I would say stick with where the building's located. If the building is in the Lehigh area, but they do take kids from Saratoga, stick them in Central. Same thing with, for example, Barrett. Barrett takes kids from Pleasant Grove, but the physical building is in American Fork.
The address of the building.
Yep, the address of the building. So go with the building address for now. I mean, things can change in this situation later, and we'll adjust as needed as far as that goes.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. And yeah, I kind of just blew over that. We have 3 tenants for Jamf for the 3 different future districts. So the techs that are out west will only log into the west server, the west tenant, south tenant, central tenant.
What about nurses that are
Currently, I have a nurse that's assigned to me and the district office.
Yeah, we'll just keep them in the district office for now, like the homeschool kind of situation. Their home building, their home Jamf assignment.
That is an excellent point. We will have staff that do move. Unlike students are gonna be easier. We will have staff that move.
Yeah.
But to Austin's point, ask them what their home school is. I think that's gonna be our best bet. It may not be where they end up, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what homeschool is going to mean to a special ed teacher. I don't know what homeschool is gonna mean to a psychologist down the road.
But with specific departments like that, we already handle them in a specific way. Nurses stay in the district office, OUs. Special ed teachers, they stay in the special ed OUs. So we'll handle it the same way.
And then what about, how long is this contract? So after Alpine splits, are we
Yeah.
gonna show up to work at our new
No.
district and things won't work?
No,
2 days later?
they gave us 3-year pricing.
Yes, so,
That's the hope, right?
yeah, well, the negotiation went, I have the contract going all the way to July of 2027. Currently as it stands, I'm unable, and we'll be able, we got the pricing all the way to that point. I'm not able to spend the money of the new districts. It's a bridge too far for me. But I was able to negotiate with Jamf to say that they will continue the same pricing, the same contract, the same functionality for 2 years.
So a 3-year total price promise. And it is up to the new districts to pay for it, obviously. Obviously, Adam's gonna say, hey, we highly suggest you do. So, we'll see. I have one other question. Good.
So I'm in multiple districts with my schools, so I would just sign out and go to the other one.
Yeah. Well, you'd have a different URL. You could have both URLs up on your web browser. It's fine. Yeah, good question. All right. Okay. Okay, so say that you made sure that you have the device that you're troubleshooting. Like if teacher's like, oh, mine didn't migrate, you go down there. You make sure it's in the right OU, but it's still not getting the profile. That's the first thing you want to look for, is if it's getting the profile, right? First step, and we tested this obviously, is to run this command here, sudo profiles renew -type enrollment. That's going to renew the enrollment to Workspace ONE. It will keep it, and then you need, after that's finished, you need to move the device back into the staff OU. 2 steps for troubleshooting.
Where will it be before it's after you drop it?
It will go to the root of your school. Yeah.
Austin?
Yeah.
Is that different than, has that changed then since we tested that? If it goes to the root of your school as opposed to the root of the district?
I'll double check. Oh, no, it is the root of the district, that's right.
So you have to move it.
Yeah. So you will.
Or have a ticket, put in a ticket to have it moved? Because you may
Ticket.
not be able to see it, right?
Yeah, ticket to have it moved. If you're doing this type enrollment, that's right, it went to the root of the district.
Like
So once we've done that, we won't even see it.
Yeah.
No.
We'll have to ask you guys to find it.
It did let me run
That's
it
right.
from there.
Yeah, it did run.
But that was the central, because I'm central, so.
Right, if it's in the same district. Yeah, different process if it's a different district.
Hey, Austin,
Yeah.
when will the text be migrated?
Along the process, we could do, you guys, soon. We just wanted to get these schools in a pilot. We don't have a timeline for that yet. Maybe even next week if the pilots go well. Yeah.
When is the deadline to get it all done?
Workspace ONE contract ends at the end of May.
School location of you.
Right. We're thinking if it goes well, we could get it done in 2 weeks.
Oh.
Well, 3 weeks, including the pilot.
So if it ends in May, how are we supposed, never mind, I just answered my own question.
Is it for iOS or macOS?
On the student labs,
Yeah.
but we're just gonna wipe them,
Wipe them.
like you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in that process, it'll look so similar to Workspace ONE, re-enroll on a fresh white re-enroll.
After it's been migrated in Jamf, will it look similar to Workspace ONE where it just shows up the serial number and we have to rename the device again?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and we can, let's look at that now. Let's see. So, to answer that question and to look at it, here is my test device. Here's the computer name. It's the serial number, right? That's what we set it to default. We'll click edit, and then rename it there. Name it, save. There's not a checkbox like Workspace ONE to push the name down, because we have a policy policy that runs that pushes the name down every time the device checks in. So renaming is important, right? And then going into users and locations. So we're just looking at one device right here. And then editing, we're gonna edit and changing the position to either teacher or student. To the biggest, most important things to do right away. Also set the building to your building. So 3 important things to do.
How is this working for profiles and apps that we have assigned to the teachers?
Yeah, we're gonna try and copy the profiles over as best as we can. Same with apps.
Ideally,
Still,
with staff,
we don't-
there's not a lot, right?
With staff, there's not a lot. There are some. If
Especially
there's
for SPED and such like that,
SPED, yeah, and yeah, we'll try to copy SPED as well. We're gonna be using the same VBP, same VBPs. It's just the assignments to the groups are gonna have to happen again in Jamf.
So do we need to do app assignments, like kind of groups again for all of those?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make like the generic ones for you too, right? But yeah, you will need to make new ones, or we could work with you to make the new ones. Yep,
What were the 3 things again? The device name,
yep.
device location?
Building,
Position.
position.
And build.
Are you gonna have a drop down for position, or are we just typing it?
It's a drop down. Oh no, it's a type in.
So we misspelled it.
Wait, no, wait. Building's a drop down. Building's a drop down.
Yeah. Position.
What is the
If we have to
position?
spell it wrong, is it gonna mess it up?
Yeah, if you spell it wrong, it messes it up.
So that's just for ones you do individually, like on Monday when we do will those ones keep their name or get their name automatically?
They're not gonna get their name.
No.
Wait, yeah, they're not gonna get their name.
So we'll do this for every device that we migrate.
We could switch it so that instead of pushing the name down from Jamf, it pulls it from the device. You could switch it.
No.
Is that for
Is
migrating?
that per No. site,
or is that everybody?
I can do it for everybody.
I don't know.
For migration, that's probably a better idea.
And we can make it run only once, so it pulls
So
it
that
up
it goes
once
back.
after migration.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Cause I, like in the and then in the future,
In the
we would
future,
do the
we'll switch
policy
it.
the other way.
Yeah, it makes sense
And
for our staff
Austin,
migration to do that.
I think that we were able to put the computer name as part of the CSV import.
We can do the computer name.
So we
as-
could have building, all of that, if we export it from Workspace ONE and get it ahead of time.
Yeah,
For a lot of it. But we will test that to verify.
yeah, that goes into how I'm getting these serial numbers. I'm gonna pull a download from your staff OU, and I can't upload them in in a spreadsheet.
When you, on the screen where you had us change the actual device name, one of the fields below was the asset ID. Is that gonna be carried over, so we don't have to do what we've had in?
It's down lower.
Yeah, click at it.
Oh. I
Asset
think there
tag.
is a column for that in the spreadsheet, so I can carry it over.
Yeah, we don't wanna lose that.
Yeah,
That would be nice.
But if they do it manually, will it do that?
no.
Okay, so we should add that.
If my, like laptop and iPad are in my school, OU, should I move them back to,
We can migrate you.
091, or is it okay?
We can
that-
migrate you as a school.
Okay.
If you're in the school and you wanna stay there with your device, that's okay. John?
So what about these devices that haven't touched the network?
And we'll have to find them and do a cleanup process.
How often
And,
does Jamf talk to the machine? Like,
well,
if we
for the
were-
migration process, we're waiting for Workspace ONE to talk, right? Jamf tells the device to check in every 15 minutes.
Austin?
Yeah.
I know we're talking about macOS right now, but with a lot of iPads in the future, can we also have that information pulled, or are we gonna wipe those as well?
iPads are a wipe.
We can also pull. So they will be wiped, but we can pull a CSV and import it ahead of time to kind of have, if it's that serial number, it should have all the information.
I can't do that.
Be great.
And then, once everything's in, we'll remove that CSV import so that it can be changed. So the CSV import overrides everything else that you might change. It's the winner. So we want it one time as the device comes, and then we want to
And then we
remove
can
that.
modify it as needed?
Yes, we can do that.
That would be great, especially for the elementary schools that have, I mean, yes, we're moving to Chromebooks, I understand that, but there's still a lot
So
of.
iPads?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can do that. This kind of goes along with John's question. How will you know if a device is not migrated? We'll ask that you check your staff OU and then sort the columns. You can't see this, it's really small, but there's an enrollment column. Just sort by enrollment so that unenrolled or enrolled is at the top. You'll start-
It's usually far on the right. It's part of a
Yeah,
standard view,
you'll
and you
have
just
to
drag it
scroll
over.
And drag it over. Then you can keep track of what's still enrolled in Workspace ONE, and then you'll know that you need to go track it down.
Does the school remove it from Workspace ONE?
Yes.
Will it also be, will this also be done for the Apple TVs?
Oh.
No.
Are they supposed to be
Apple
in
TV.
Workspace ONE?
Well, so we're gonna handle the Apple TVs like iPads. It's a wipe. They will go into Jamf. Yeah. Actually, I want to show you what it looks like live. Let me switch to this computer. I'm on the student network. Let me see this TV.
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
You can check it.
Give it a shot.
That's
You can do Alpine conference. Will it work? I don't know what the Alpine conference password is. It changes. Guess we can find out.
Change me now. Change me next week.
Yeah. Do you want to just, do you need an adapter? Do you want to just plug it in? Here. Oh, that's my one. There is one attached to the back. Unstuck here.
Pretty sure it's not unusual.
It might work. Might be longer.
Just need somebody to stand there and hold the laptop for him.
Is that longer?
I volunteer no.
Okay, so I got it, Jen.
You got it?
If you could switch it back.
Or is it detecting it?
Just have it hard.
Is that source?
Not connected, but.
What source
do we
Source or input? Yeah.
Yeah, here it is right here, but I'm just not sure. There it is. Is it, are you in Solstice?
Thanks, Jen. Sure. Okay, so this is my test device. I just want to show you what the enrollment process looks like after we've gone through the questions of troubleshooting. So this device is on wireless right now, and I'm logged into a student account that's not an administrator. Okay, so I just added the device to get the Migrate app auto ran. Last time I did this, it took maybe 3 minutes for it to pop up on the screen. You guys had any other questions? Oh, a lot quicker.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When are we gonna have access to the Jamf console? Are we going to have access to Jamf?
Yeah, you can log in now. We have the AD groups built, and it just pulls your universal username and password.
So not the tutorial?
We'll get you the URL. Yeah.
Good question though.
We'll put that on this. Yeah.
They're universal. They're
Not your T2.
But not
not your T2. Yeah, we haven't talked to Scott or Cliff about T2s.
Let's go universal right now, but plan on T2 in the future, hopefully.
Well, it's ADFS. It's ADFS.
My T2 was working. Oh, log in?
Yeah.
It's based on the group, and your two T2s are in the group, so your T2s will work.
They
Right,
work.
yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we just
And
make it.
I think,
We lost this.
Disconnected.
What is it called, Jamf
Mitch is already
admin?
using his T2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jamf admin
Mitch is
console.
using.
So he has to use your T2 account.
They both work, but the
At one
normal
point,
one
one
will
will.
disappear. So.
Do we have instructions on how, we'll get it to you, we'll put it on the list.
Maybe just connect with the same profile.
Maybe.
He's gonna love my grades.
So don't do this while you're connected to Solstice. Okay, so it wants me to click this OK button. So now it's saying, hey, let's enroll. So I'm gonna click not now. Off history.
Will you click not now?
It is
So I
blue.
see what happens.
I don't wanna wait 5 more minutes. It goes back into the account and then that OK, that screen with the continue and OK. That's
For
it.
those of you who would like to stick around at the end, can't do so, right?
I was in the middle of tab and I needed my computer and. Right in the middle of roll 50.
So it's enrolled. Finishing up.
It'd be better to do it at the end of day, something. I'm just worried that's first period roll.
We still all think about it.
There's roll.
We don't start till 9:15, we're good.
Well,
Well,
oh, good, okay, you're good. I just.
well, it depends on if it's early start
Yeah.
or late start.
Nobody sticks around tomorrow.
Better time
We,
They'll be gone.
we can talk about the time,
for each school.
yeah, but end of day's not great.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because your time, yeah.
Maybe not right at 8, but.
We can talk about the time.
We can talk about it.
Okay, if it's per school, that's fine.
Lane, what do you
It's
think?
flexible.
Okay.
What time do you think we should say, hey, we're gonna push this to your device? Auto. To not interrupt roll or beginning of day stuff.
Sunday at noon.
Great. Can you show up?
When all the computers are on.
I don't have a strong, these guys would know better than I would.
We were thinking 8 AM, because every school should have a teacher meeting that starts at like 7:45 and goes to like
We start on
school.
Monday, 7:45, so class starts.
Do they have a meeting before that?
Sometimes.
Yeah. So high school, middle school, and elementary will be different times.
I mean, we could always kick it off right the night before, so right, first thing they see when they come in the morning, when they log in.
Yeah, but if they got their computer at home,
Then it'll happen at night.
It'll happen at night.
And they'll come in and talk to the tech, but then.
you know they're working at home.
So the plan, as it stands right now, could be modified, is we're gonna do all the high schools on one day. We'll do all the middle schools on a second day. And we'll take day number 3, day number 4, and day number 5 to hit the elementary schools. So if there's a time that works better for the high schools, if the high schools are the night before because they have such an early, light up in the next morning, we may do the high schools the night before. Junior highs may be the same boat. Elementary schools fluctuate. I mean, we have elementaries that are early birds and later gators. So maybe we'll just kind of sort through that. The big takeaway from this though is nobody will be missed. The fact of the matter is, even if the teacher's sick that day, it will show up on her device when she turns it on the next day. It will show up on her device if she turns it on at home and is working from home while sick.
They do that.
Watching Netflix, not watching Netflix, building sub-plans. But along those lines, nobody will be missed. So if not everybody's like, oh, they're all staring at their computer screens at 8 AM, it's okay. It will catch them when it catches them.
That's a good point. We don't want to mess up roll. It's possible that we will. So we already got to the reboot screen here. There's a timer, but if I just hit reboot, it's gonna reboot. Then the teacher would log into their account and then hit OK one more time on that migration screen, and then they're done. So you just saw that live on wireless using this student account. And it took less than 5 minutes. So, any other questions?
Do you want to come up with a naming scheme for computers?
We're gonna try and go with the same naming scheme we got in Workspace ONE. Yeah. And it's very important for the labs. School number. For labs?
Just for the staff.
Oh, for staff, yeah, school number, then their universal name. For the naming of macOS. I did see another hand. Yep.
So in Jamf, that position field, can you change that to a drop down?
No, it's a type in. And it's student or teacher.
Are we still wanting to do that?
Position, yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, to build groups.
So it's student,
We talk later. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, it's student or teacher, there's, like, what if it's an admin, or it's not student staff, it's student or
If you type,
teacher?
if you type staff, it will work too, so staff
Oh.
or teacher, it's the same.
Anything but.
Yeah, I think that's too.
Oh.
Student and not
Student and not student, yeah.
It's all spelled wrong.
What are the consequences if we miss a machine or a machine gets missed?
We dock your pay.
Sure enough,
Like, after May?
Let's say we find one next August.
Yeah, we
Because
can.
that's conceivable.
Then you can't use Workspace ONE to do it. I think that's run it manually.
Yeah, we can manually enroll it. No problem.
Do you have instructions on that?
Yeah. We'll give you the instructions on that.
It'll be the same, it's just where you'll get the app.
The URL is different. Kind of like Workspace ONE, just different URL for manual enrollment.
Hey, Austin.
Yeah.
But just to Tom's question there, as Austin mentioned earlier, this system will have the benefit of being able to, you'll be able to go back into Workspace ONE, and as he mentioned, sort through and see who's still enrolled in Workspace ONE. So hopefully, you know, we get this ball really rolling and going in April. We'll have a good chunk of May to be going back into Workspace ONE going, okay, I have 7 who who are still enrolled in Workspace ONE. I don't know, they can't be dual enrolled, right? You can't have them be enrolled in Workspace ONE and Jamf, right?
No.
So literally, if you see somebody who's still on the enrolled in Workspace ONE, no Jamf. You can knock that down from 7 to 4, from 4 to 2, from 2 to hopefully 0 before, you know, before the summer. But yeah, I really think we'll probably get most of them that way. There is the possibility, legitimately possibility, that we'll find devices that weren't actually in Workspace ONE either. So if we find a device that wasn't in Workspace ONE in its lifetime, those ones will still have to manually do Jamf as well. So there's this, to Tom's point, we'll hopefully get everybody who's in Workspace ONE, but there will be those devices that, like the PE teacher, the coach pulls out and says, I just went to the Apple store and bought this, you know, type of thing. You guys know how it goes.
But we can manually enroll them.
Do we still gotta do DEP concerns?
Yeah, like, yeah, it's gonna feel the same way, like when you get a new device, do the DEP ticket. Yep, same process.
How much are licenses when schools make purchases?
For
For Jamf.
yeah, and you were only charging for iPads, right, still?
You're ruining everything.
We didn't really know.
About that raise, Nick. $200 or $300, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is why you're not getting one.
So I wasn't gonna bring this up until later.
Not that it was a big deal or anything.
Nicholas is here.
You're welcome.
Yes.
But in renegotiating with Jamf from Workspace ONE, we were able to secure rather impressive pricing. And that being said, I actually just had a meeting last week with the other involved parties. And starting next school year, there will be no more MDM fee. So we already don't charge for teacher machines, we didn't charge for Apple TVs, we had this legacy total cost of ownership for the iPads, and that's why on all the approvals, you guys saw me like, please talk to Nicholas about the $30 MDM license, you know, type of thing. I will totally not have to type that up anymore.
You can leave that there.
No, it's worth it,
I would
that's all.
love-
I'm willing to pay to have it gone.
But I would love to have an account where they can put $30 in for me every
Oh,
time.
but $30 is now just.
Is that what they do? Yeah, Tim, please answer a few questions.
But I don't want to necessarily let that cat out of the bag quite yet, because that fee will go to the end of this year, which is only a month and a half away. And, you know, pretty much everybody who's gonna buy an iPad has already bought an iPad, but.
No, that's what you think.
So if they're going to buy an iPad between now and the end of the year, we'll still charge them a $30 fee, because it's only fair, and Nick needs a raise. But starting.
Just me, nobody else.
Starting next year though, macOS, iOS, tvOS, no MDM. There'll still be licensing. I'm still gonna have to pony up if our numbers go from 21,000 to 24,000 to 28,000. But as of right now, budget says that I can do this. When the new districts do their thing, I can't promise you what the other ones will do. Sound good? Good question though.
Yeah, and just, I have one more thing to show you. There's no more hub. I'll get to you in just a minute. There's one more hub. There's no more hub. It's called self-service now, and it's not, there's not an icon up in the system bar. It's in the applications folder. So self-service is where the teachers or you can pull apps that we have available manually. It looks the same, yeah. It was the same designer. Which one? Graphic designer. No question there.
Are the licenses for like Microsoft Office and stuff, Jamf, or will that mess with that at all?
Microsoft Office licenses?
365, you mean?
So we have Microsoft Office 2019 working. We have a plan to switch to Office 365, but that's not ready just quite yet.
So
It's going to happen very
shouldn't
soon.
mess with it, right?
What, with Office 365?
Because that's how we pushed out the license.
So 2019 is what they'll continue to use.
2019 is what they'll use. I use a serializer to make 2019 work. Yeah. More questions?
Can I share a couple things from when I did mine?
What's that?
So I could share a couple things from when I did.
Oh, yeah. Mitch has been on the team helping us closely, and he's migrated 5 devices,
Yeah.
including his tech machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got some good pointers for you guys.
So when I did mine, to your point of Microsoft Office, Office uninstalled from my device. And then if you want to force it, you could go into self-service right where Austin is and run the install. But if you wait 15 minutes, that check-in with Jamf is initiated, and then it checks in and reinstalls all the apps that were pushed out through Workspace ONE that temporarily are removed. Same thing with Chrome. As I was using Chrome, and about 15 minutes later, I got like a notification saying Chrome is broken and needs to be reinstalled, and I just hit OK, and it closed it, and it's seemingly reinstalled it via Jamf, but it wasn't nothing like broke it or anything. I didn't have to relog in. It all still worked like normal.
It's on your tech computer?
Yeah, this was on my personal device. And then on the 4 teachers that we did, 2 of them were on Ventura, and so the splash screens looked a little bit different on the enrollment. But that was about it.
Yeah, the difference, and we'll get you screenshots.
Yeah, we're
just
gonna get
telling you this. Instead of auto running, it asks them a question that's up here. it'll pop up right here in the notifications that they have to approve and type in their password. And that would, you saw on Ventura and.
On both Ventura devices.
Both Ventura
Yeah,
devices.
but so the Jamf migration app opens up and it removes the old MDM profiles, and then on the installing new MDM profiles step, instead of kicking
Just
the
doing
user
it.
to the setup assistant window where you click enroll and then put in your password, you have to click on the notification. It looks similar to what Austin's on right now with his
It'll be up
mouse. And you hit install from there and then put in your password, so it's a minor difference, but we'll get a screenshot for it.
Can we force it to check into Jamf sooner than 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jamf has some, you can look up on Jamf's website, but there's 2 commands you can run. There's Jamf Recon and Policy, I think is the other one. So you can run those from the terminal, and it checks into Jamf systems and does an inventory update or policy updates.
And then also in Workspace ONE, I use this constantly when I'm re-imaging any computer. That command that'll show you the progress of, the whole thing versus, I'm installing Office and I'm 50%. Is there a command line for that as well, or is that the same as?
It still uses console. It's just in a different location. And I'll get you the path for that. Okay. Yep.
The only other weird thing I've seen is Office installed already. I noticed
It's not
it'll be
yet.
installed, but then the icon still says install instead of open.
Yeah.
Just be aware.
So even if the app's installed already, depending on how we push it out to self-service, it can just still say install. It'll just install over the top.
So we can go into the install logs, just like we do.
And yeah, through console, like you started in console.
Okay.
It's been a week or 2 since I've been in there, but I might be able to find it, but.
So I should probably just not have my teachers using their computer in front of the students, because apps are gonna be uninstalling and reinstalling,
For the first
So,
hour.
okay. I think I'm just gonna tell them no computers.
Chrome and Word, it's that happened in Mitch, yeah.
That would be probably something good to
Yeah.
communications out to our teachers.
Yeah.
Is that the transition will probably take 5 minutes. Additional app installs will take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour. I think that would be good communication out to the teachers. It's just, hey, you could be done as early as 5 minutes, but give yourself at least a solid hour before you're 100%. Does that sound about right? That's just weird.
Especially if they're all doing it at once.
How does this affect Adobe?
So Adobe is done through a client.
So it'll remove the desktop client, but not the apps that were installed by the desktop client.
Yeah.
And then it'll reinstall the desktop client.
Is it installing in the background? So technically, they could be using their
Yeah,
computer?
like I use my computer.
They continue in the background for up to an hour?
Yeah, like you may have things that work a little differently for an hour, but it should go back to normal.
Please,
The four teachers I migrated their devices didn't ask me a single question afterwards.
After?
They used their devices the rest of the day and didn't have any questions. I asked them 2 days later if they noticed anything different. They didn't notice anything, so.
That's great. And so, yeah, 4 teachers, no questions, go ahead.
How's this gonna impact printer logic? Do we have the app? I mean, what am I trying to say?
Logic is using the extension of the browser.
Yeah,
correct,
because
Jeff?
the browser's being reinstalled.
Yes, but what was
So
the,
it has nothing to do.
How is it gonna affect current logic?
Well, but if it's.
it's still an app, so it might,
So
I don't know.
installed, and so it'd just be a matter of.
It won't uninstall any print, you may not be able to install anything, but it shouldn't uninstall your printers.
It will not.
Say
I
that
will
again.
always say,
It
yeah.
will not. It
They
says
still print. The teachers have still
the
print.
printers worked.
Yeah, as long as you've done your,
Yeah.
yeah.
And just
If
so you
they're
know,
installed that way, not set to like the deployment or whatever.
Yeah, well, when printer logic goes offline, It's still, you still have an IP printer remaining, like it's still installed, nothing, it shouldn't remove anything, so, shouldn't.
It's a good question.
Apparently not.
They work.
Well,
That's some weird
do we
stuff.
have to go in and re-enable
Mark is
the,
doing back-end work, redoing the system in the background.
Okay.
Nothing changed with Chrome at all. I didn't have to sign in to any of my 4 profiles I use on Chrome. I didn't have to re-enable any extensions or reinstall any extensions. It just,
That's great news. That's great news.
it was like I downloaded Chrome from the website and dragged and replaced it because, like, you know, sometimes Chrome stops updating. You have to reinstall it that way, but
Yeah.
everything, all my settings, the P list for it, nothing changed.
That's great.
So was that just macOS 13, the Ventura that gave the?
Ventura and older.
Oh, Ventura before?
Yeah. Probably see that extra question.
Hopefully there's not too many.
Hopefully that's done.
So we're probably, there's more topics you're hitting if, like, you're just taking questions on what we've talked about so far.
Yeah, what we talked about so far, we're not really gonna get into the details of Jamf right now. We
Like-
just wanna focus on the migration process.
Yeah, like the Apple Store connections and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. 'Cause,
I'll
like,
do all that, I'll do all the BBB stuff, and it'll, be just a copy of your apps that you have already in Workspace ONE.
Unless we don't.
Once they're in your VPP, you can't get rid of them. Yeah. Okay, I'm like, all done. Oh, Paul.
So, when somebody takes their machine home and they get a pop-up and they start the whole migration.
Yeah.
It's gonna, like, if they don't have certain apps installed, don't they need to be on our network in order to get certain apps?
No, all apps will install at home. The only thing that won't happen is they won't bind to AD. But as soon as they bring it into the school, open it up, turn it on, connect to the network, then it will bind. Right, TJ?
If they're not bound, how do they log into their computer?
Their account's already a mobile account. It doesn't break that.
That's right. That's one of the ways we got all the Jamf.
Okay. I think I'm all done, unless we got some more questions, we can answer more.
When you like have a new computer and you enroll it in Jamf, do you you still, to sign in the first time, you're still going to need to be like wired? It's going to be
Hardwired.
similar.
Yeah. Because of the AD buying process.
Can you repeat the question?
When you enroll a new machine, do you need to be hardwired on that first login? And yes, you need hardwired.
But current machines can go either wired or wireless.
Yeah, the migration process will happen on wireless. We just saw it live here today. Okay. Feeling good?
So not want to delve too deep into it, but can you just kind of give them a very quick or a rough expectation as far as teacher iOS devices?
Teacher iOS. Yeah, and we kind of did, yeah. So teacher iOS devices, once we get the staff macOS done, we can start doing iOS devices soon after. And communication that's gonna need to go out for staff iOS is they need to back up their data if they have certain apps, like the one I can think of right now is Notability. And what's the other one like Notability? Good Notes. So things like that where they've built their whole itinerary and teaching curriculum on those apps, back them up to iCloud or to Google. I think you can do both in the app. They're gonna need to back up that important data for those apps because it's gonna be a wipe reinstall to go to Jamf for the iPads
Are you
and
sure?
Apple TVs.
Is there any way around that?
No.
The rewinding?
Like all the pictures and
No,
stuff?
unfortunately with
No.
iOS, the way that it was initially set up when we set up Workspace ONE, it's an unremovable profile, an enrollment profile. And so in order to take them from Workspace ONE to Jamf.
Can I go back to his raised question?
Is that something that we can get the ILCs to make just a quick?
Yeah,
like,
I'm
we don't
already
tutorial?
talking to the ILCs about how to back up apps like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm talking to them already about it.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably have, a lot of your teachers probably, it's not gonna be a big deal, they'll just wipe their device or whatever.
Yeah.
So those will be easy, but those that do have those important things, we definitely wanna make sure that they're aware.
Yeah, the ILCs are gonna train them on that.
Yay.
So you probably want to sign out of
Yeah, sign out of iCloud too, part of that wipe process.
Well, can we not just wipe them from WS1?
I mean, you can send a command to wipe from WS1 if you have good results with that. It's very possible.
So we don't enable iCloud. Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't work every time.
It always requires something.
Like you do. Is that good for iOS?
Yeah, I would just say, as you're working with your teachers, if you end up having, well, you will be working with your teachers with this process. There's the good news and the bad news. The good news is the macOS is going to be, as we saw, about as simple as it can get. No loss of data, no resetting passwords, no, oh, well, you're gonna have to resync this and your printers aren't gonna, it's gonna be smooth. That's the good news. It wouldn't be a bad idea to start preparing them for the bad news. I mean, and I don't know what the ratios are nowadays. I know we have a lot of teachers who have iPads because it's part of our learning power classroom. It's an initiative that we wanted and we pushed for. But to be fair, a lot of those teachers may not have a lot of local data on that device. They use the device to log into web pages, they use the device to present, maybe they don't even use the device, I don't know. Those ones are gonna be really easy to migrate. You don't even have to worry about backing up. If they're like, I don't have anything on there, or I have pictures on there that are already synced to my laptop. Those ones are gonna be easy. It's like Austin was saying, if they have in-app data that doesn't sync to the laptop, those are the things that we're gonna wanna catch. So I would say start prepping them, and you can work with your ILC as far as prepping them. The expectation for the teacher's device, since we're not using Workspace ONE to deploy Jamf, is not on the same time frame. We could do teachers' devices right after we're done with the macOS, so maybe in May we could start. We could do them through the summer if the teachers show up. We could finish them up in August when they come back. We don't have the same time frame as far as that goes. But we want them to be aware, and we want to make this as smooth as a wipe and rebuild can be. Camille, thanks.
That being said, can we make it so that when they enroll in Jamf from the iPads, that they can use their own credentials and not like a generic one initially, so that they can actually do that enrollment process?
I mean, we could look at that.
That's a good question.
Currently, we have the generic one for security. We don't want, but I mean, we could look at that. Yep.
Are you gonna be sharing with us the generic accounts?
Well, it's gonna be the same that's in Keeper already, that we already use for Workspace ONE. Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of, just real quick, is the student macOS devices. Austin touched base on this one, but I do just want to kind of get a pulse from the group. I asked Austin about this earlier today, and we kind of brainstormed on it and couldn't think of anything, but what I'm wondering is, our goal or our expectation is that we're not going to push Jamf to student workstations simply because the expectation is every single one of those devices gets wiped and reinstalled over the summer.
Right. Should be.
That's where I'm going. Yeah. Does anybody have reason or think of specific devices that don't or can't get wiped over the summer to accommodate this Jamf migration? I mean, there's no wrong answer here necessarily. I'm raising that's the wrong answer.
You gave him 5 seconds, that's good.
Tom.
I have some devices that my video teacher like takes to events in the summer that he probably doesn't want wiped randomly when I decide to wipe them. So it's like, I was wondering what the deadline is to wipe all those devices. Do we have all summer to do it, or does it have to be by the end of May?
Well, I don't think it has to be by the end of May. Student devices aren't on the same time, because obviously a lot of our labs, we don't want to touch those until after the school year ends.
Right.
And kids have gotten their yearbook done and their end of year projects done. So I would think at the earliest, we would probably start June. So we wouldn't even start until early June.
Okay.
And then just as the labs go through, I would want them ready to go by the start of school year. So that your scenario is a good one. We do have people working on projects over the summer. Is it plausible to say, okay, we're gonna hit you early then, so they'll be ready come your July conferences and your
As
August?
long as we have flexibility at deadline, I don't see a problem. But if we have to do it like by May 28th, that could be a problem.
For student, we're very flexible with student devices, yeah.
So there are some devices that I had to think through that for me. Like, we have some band devices, we have some theater support, running sound controls and et cetera, that are student devices because students are using them, but would be hard to be completely wiped. Is that something where we could onesie twosie push out and have this, script run for those devices?
Yes, yep.
Okay,
Definitely.
so maybe just contact you if we come up with some of those that we want to have.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's excellent point. I mean, our goal is not to ruin anybody's day. If there's legitimate, hey, they needed us in the auditorium, or they got competitions or conferences during the summer. I want to just be as accommodating as possible, but we can't accommodate if we don't know about them. So if you guys think of anything else, reach out to Austin or the MDM team or myself, and we'll see what we can do. I'm sure there will be some that we can accommodate, and I'm sure there will be others that, like what Tom was saying, if we just get them on the right schedule. I mean, no, we're not going to let it slide, because we do need Jamf on every device that's out there. You can't really just say, well, you just stay on workspace 1. But we could be flexible with our schedule. Good questions. Anything else, Austin?
I was just curious with Apple TVs, I assume we're gonna have to hold those down and plug them in wired to get
Yeah.
the network profile.
Yeah.
What is the timeline on that?
Same as iOS, so end of May, summertime.
Could be a good summer project.
Yeah, good summer project for the teams.
Those can't be re-enrolled on the Wi-Fi?
Apple TVs, no.
Plug in.
They're like the iOS, it's
Chicken before the egg situation, right?
Well, I was like, if we didn't have just an open network that we could connect to for the time that we were enrolling it. Yeah, just.
Open network.
No.
Right.
He does it anyway for the Chromebooks.
That's his favorite word.
It would probably be the same as when they're wiping their Chromebooks, if they're all working together.
I know the Alpine Tech right now, we turn off and then on during the summer, and that only allows Chromebooks, but we could probably extend it to Apple TVs.
Huge, because ours are all in the ceiling.
Not iOS, only Apple.
So you're not hardwiring an iOS device, so we're trying to.
Yes. Try to think where to put it.
That was good, yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Austin.
Should we stop streaming so that people can speak freely?
Yeah.